So imagine you were playing Doom Eternal, and while you were playing it, a massively less annoying version of Claptrap chimed in to tell a silly joke, and at the same time, a Mancubus came out of nowhere and starts spewing out hazardous orbs of varying colours. That's the elevator pitch for Bears in Space, a first-person shooter that sees the movement stylings of classic arena shooters mixed with the frenetic and chaotic nature of 3D bullet hell games like Returnal, all while a bunch of jokes are being told or shown to the player. Now, before you say, "I don't care about anything else, give me the game already," just hold on. Because even though it's mostly how it sounds, there's still some stuff to go over that can be the difference between you buying it or not. Bears in Space is developed by a small indie team of 3 people based out of Ipswich, Queensland, Australia. It's not a game that positions itself or aims to be particularly profound in any sense, but rather focuses on delivering a fun experience while cracking a lot of jokes along the way. Bears in Space wastes no time getting you acquainted with this ridiculous premise, where, through some absurd and arguably self-inflicted circumstances, spacefaring human Max Adam pairs up with known bear criminal Beartana. And for those of you who know anything about shooters from between 2001 and now, you'd immediately see the reference this game makes with this character. For those that don't understand, hello there. I am glad to make your acquaintance, and we are here to address your concerns. Chief among them, this reference. Now let's get this clear right now. This game doesn't just have some references. Virtually every moment has been painstakingly crafted to riff on some other pieces of media, whether it be other games, shows, music, or movies. Bears in Space is clearly a very Australian love letter to every other form of media, and what is more Australian than poking fun at the things we love? I won't detail everything, but here are a few highlights. RWA, or Robots with Attitude. NPC Town, which has a dig at the one-note nature of Pokemon NPCs. Robin Hood, Bots and Tights, and even the cartoon trope of slipping on bananas. I'm sure there are numerous references that I missed or just didn't understand, but that is also the brilliant part about the way the game has been written. These jokes are still funny without the context of the reference material. It's a pretty fine line to walk, and Broadside Games has done it excellently. The jokes aren't the only part of the game that excels, however. The general design and pacing of the game is surprisingly great. Most of your time playing the game, you'll be engaged in combat with brightly coloured robots who spew varying amounts of coloured orbs your way. The first few types of bots are pretty easily handled, as their offensive capabilities are nothing short of entertaining, but it doesn't take long for the game to introduce other kinds of bots whose ability to screw you over is unparalleled. Some bots are able to focus their volleys of orbs at you, others will just throw orbs in every direction in the hopes of hitting you, and some others even take the time to line up their shots and snipe you or melt you with a laser. There are lots of different kinds of bots here, and the game is better for it. Adding to this, the guns you use look and sound great too, which is really great to see considering there's a lot of guns. Like, a lot of guns. And making sure each gun feels good to use is not an easy feat. My personal favourite was the first gun you get, which is a shotgun, and its alternate fire mode allows you to load up to 5 rounds into the chamber for it to be fired in quick succession. Some of the guns are both really good and dumb jokes at the same time, like the duck gun, which allows you to throw rubber ducks that explode on contact. And the alternate fire of this gun throws out breadcrumbs which mark enemies and allow the rubber ducks to home in on those marked targets. There are some really good stupid jokes here, and I love it. Where I wasn't expecting to enjoy Bears in Space was its platforming, but it's surprisingly cohesive. The level design in a platforming sense is concise and sensible. As a result, you have really cohesive moments of platforming that don't feel like the game is overextending itself to be something it is not. The platforming is used as a method of breaking the pace between combat encounters and is even designed with accessibility in mind. You can change the difficulty of the platforming sections, and it makes things much easier for you. even going as far as removing the rotating platforms that would otherwise introduce a timing facet to the challenge. No way does the inclusion of this feature detract from the experience, and so Broadside Games has done really well to design their game in such a way that it facilitates this. The length of Bears in Space is majorly dependent on your willingness to uncover all the game's secrets. I spent around 12 hours with this game, which included me uncovering, I would guess, somewhere around half the secrets the game had to offer. But for those sleuths among you, you might spend a little more time in each level to discover everything the game has to offer. Regardless, I found that some of the jokes which were oriented around shifting the goalpost to be a little grating, as the game can risk overstaying its welcome because of this, especially if you spend too long trying to scour every level with a fine comb. This also just brings up the fact that not every joke lands as well as you'd hope, but that's okay. That's humour. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not quite as good. I'm not going to pretend like Bears in Space is the next coming of Jesus for the game industry, or how it stands as a benchmark for the rest of the industry, because in reality it's not. That was never the goal of the game, and because it knows its limits, it instead has a much clearer vision of what it wants to be. It's fun, comedic, and just an all-round enjoyable experience. And for $30 Australian, it's hard to argue against it being a great little title that you can sit down with over a weekend.